Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I have a problem. I love comic books, can't get enough of them, but I seem to buy more than I can handle. I just end up leaving them on a chair in my room, saying, nah, I'll get to them at some point, but I don't. I just leave them in that chair. That damn comic book chair. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 6 of the comic book chair. Today we'll be looking at all new Ghost Rider Legend. Synopsis. The Ghost Rider has become a legend in East LA, a force taking out thugs and a hero for kids to look up to. But if they only knew the truth behind the hero, they would be just as afraid of him as the criminals that dominate their streets. Robbie, as a young hero, has reached the inevitable point that all heroes his age do. Does he use his powers to get ahead in life? Or does he use them to protect those closest to him? Either way, his soul is literally on the line, and his life may not be his for very long. That's some somber shit I just thought off the top of my head. That's not true. It's written down on the paper in front of me. How you guys doing out there in YouTube land? You having fun? You having a good day? Characters. Robbie Reyes, all new Ghost Rider. We remember him from the last book. Robbie has been abusing his powers to win street races and to raise enough money for him and his brother Gabe to move out of Hill Rock Heights in East LA. Yes, they finally gave a name to the place where they live in East LA. It's not just the entirety of Eastern Los Angeles. It is now Hill Rock Heights in Eastern Los Angeles. This abuse of his powers, however, is slowly eating away at his soul and is starting to abuse the people around him. Rob, like with any Ghost Rider, your powers are tied to your emotions. Of course, what fucking superpower in comic books isn't tied to your emotions? Tied to his emotions, the more bad things he do, or the more negative things he gives into, the more powerful Eli becomes over his soul and starts to consume him. That's a big plot of this book. Now to move on to Eli, because since I just said his name and shit. Eli Morrow, who has a last name now. His last name is Morrow. Eli, as we all know, is the poltergeist that gives Robbie his powers, his source of powers, if you will. Anyway, Eli has been revealed that he was a Satan-worshipping serial killer and former hitman for the Russian mob, and the man who killed Robbie and Gabe's parents. What a fucking asshole. It also turns out that he is so evil that his soul can grant the same powers as the immortal elder god Xanthos, who is the source of all the other Ghost Riders' powers. So that dude is such an asshole that he can bend reality after he fucking dies. Holy shit. Robbie, my man, what the fuck have you done to yourself? Anyway, he takes Robbie for a ride every time he does something stupid. The same thing like in the last comic where he would transform into the Ghost Rider when he needs help. It's an opposite thing now. Works both days. Works both ways with this guy. My pronunciation is shit. Also, we got the return of Gabe Reyes in this book. Old little Gaby. Just like in the last book, Gabe is the symbol of great power comes great responsibility that Robbie has to deal with, his totem. Because Robbie's been fucking up and Eli has been taking his body for joyrides, he doesn't have time to take care of Gabe. He's been completely neglecting his brother, even when it came to doing cool shit like, cool is a subjective term here. Even when Robbie was going off and doing street races, he left Gabe alone by himself, but Gabe was fine with that because he knew what he was doing. He's at least made him dinner beforehand. With Eli taking over, Gabe has become a second thought, and Gabe has grown to resent Robbie. And that's a big thing, and the whole book is like, are they gonna get back together? Are they not? Will brothers mend? Brothers always mend. It just takes some fucking time. That is never answered. It's implied, sure, I suppose, but it's never answered in this book. Important cameos. Cal Zavo, back. He's, most of his introduction of what he was doing happens in the first book. You're gonna need to read the first book to read this book. Cal Zavo's back. Mr. Hyde is never seen. I don't know why. That would have been cool to dust off, but I guess it has something to do with the ending of the last book, which I will not spoil. First shows up. Cal Zavo exists in this book pretty much just to end his arc. I made the big army with my super enhanced Hyde formula. Where's that gonna go? Where every supervillain plot goes, down the toilet. Oh, and here's another important cameo from the good guy's side. Old Johnny Blaze Ghost Riders in this one. That's right. The very first Fire Skullman to call himself Ghost Rider shows up every once in a while to give Robbie advice on how to handle his new status as a ghostwriter. And depending on who's drawing, he also gets a boost in attractiveness. Let me tell you something, man. The Kris, Anka, Johnny Blaze, that's a sexy-ass Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze ain't really supposed to be sexy, but that's a sexy-ass Johnny Blaze. I repeat myself, a sexy-ass Johnny Blaze. What I liked about this book, the last chapter, still written by Feilpe Smith, but drawn by Kris, Anka, is beautiful. That is some great art. Feilpe Smith, still a good writer. Gabe's mental retardation has been retconned as mental repression, which makes sense. You know, he's abandoned at a young age. Well, feel like he's been abandoned. He doesn't know that Eli killed his parents. Only Robbie knows that. And, just kind of got repressed. He doesn't act like an over-the-top child because he's retarded. He acts like an over-the-top child because that's where his brain is just hardwired to be. It's the safest spot for him to be. So this also means that he can get better as the story goes on, and that can help him out. What I hated, Damion Scott's art. It's way too messy. Like, I understand Ghost Rider is all about, like, big movements, chains everywhere, scattered stuff, but oh, is it hard to follow? No, there's good ideas, and don't get me wrong, there's good ideas in Damion Scott's art. Like, there's some cool designs, there's some neat thought, but the man, I think the man needs like a bigger book, or like a bigger panel, because he gets so hard at squishing things together. Certain frames don't look right, like, why do you cut it off here, why do you cut it off there? And, like, I don't know, this is a biggie for me. Like, this is a major slap against this book. Even so much so that now we're at the verdict, 3 out of 5. It's a must read, don't get me wrong. Read this book, buy this book, get it on Comixology. I did enjoy this book just as much as Ghost Rider Engine of Vengeance. But if you can't follow the art, the writing can't do its job. Thank God Feilpe Smith is a damn good writer. This is also the Empire Strikes Back part of the story, you know, like that's where things got risen up, so now we gotta go down just so we can rise up again, you know, as stories goes on. Well, except comic books are always in the second act, so I guess we're waiting for the second act to peter out to something good, but that's not gonna happen. There is no next story after this one. The book got canceled. I looked it up. Saddens me, but them's is business. Them's is business. Though I will say that the book does end in a logical conclusion. Everyone's character arcs are wrapped up in a nice bow. Even if we don't see Robbie and Gabe back together, this image that I'm going to put up here in a little bit does show that there's a symbolic reconciliation, at least. So once again, you know, it's a strong 3 out of 5. It is a strong 3 out of 5. Like, as 3 out of 5s go, this is a damn good 3 out of 5. Like, I want to say it's a 4 out of 5, but I can't do it thanks to Damion Scott. Nothing against you, sir. I'm certain other books you have drawn have been spectacular. I'm just going to say, like, this is a no-no for you on this one. If you guys want more all-new Ghost Rider, then buy both of these stories on Comixology, because if you have a tablet or Kindle, like, read the digital copy, because that copy goes right into Marvel's pocket. And if Marvel sees, oh shit, Ghost Rider has a resurgence, they will bring they'll either bring Feilpe Smith back, or they'll get a new writer to continue the stories of Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider. Hopefully it'd be Feilpe Smith, because that motherfucker needs to be writing this. Whoever they get to do it, better be a best friend or like that. But anyway, there's a chance you can bring it back, but all you gotta do is start reading it. So, yeah, right here, obligatory picture of my channel's logo, the Cosmic Reject logo, in the corner right here, 3 out of 5. Must read, especially if you read the last one. You should be reading this book. And next episode for Comic Book Chair, we're gonna do Gunsmith Cats. So there you go, another tale from the Comic Book Chair. See you rejects around the Milky Way.